it seems to me that, and you briefly referenced this earlier, that police officers deal with trauma on the regular, on a regular
Yes,
basis.
all the time.
And I mean, I have a certain amount of knowledge about traumas related to veterans because I've done this for 6 years, but I have very little about police officers.
Not much difference,
Right.
to be honest. You know, if there are times when I can, if I get into that zone, I can probably remember every fatal accident I've been to, every dead person. If I think about it really hard, so it's back there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, trauma doesn't leave you. I don't think it just gets buried in the recesses of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
You deal with PTSD guys all the time. You know, um, even though you're treating them and they're getting better, those memories are still way back here. You know, you never lose them. They just don't take over your life anymore. So those memories are here. You just don't think about them. Every once in a while, they'll flash out. You know,
Can you recall any circumstances under which those traumas resurfaced in your own life and impacted your um, your personal life?
um, yeah, well, back in was it 10 years ago, my father was in a nursing home, and I picked him up one day. It was a Saturday. I was bringing him home for spaghetti dinner, and we're driving down this main road, and I looked up ahead, and I saw an accident happen right in front of me. I mean, a little distance up, but as we pulled up, it was still just happened. And so I pulled into the parking lot. My father was, "What's going on? What are you doing?" You know, well, the police officer takes over.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I pulled in. I ran to the car, and I looked in the passenger window, and there was a woman who the impact was at her door. She was gravely injured, and she was spewing blood. You know, she was leaned forward. So I kind of pushed her back, snuck around the driver's side, got in the car. Her husband had been driving. He was kind of stuck in the seat, but he was okay. So I talked to her and I kept her head up, but I knew she was dead. But, you know, so I stayed with them until the rescue guys came and took over. And I was talking to her, and I could tell she had a scarf on, you know, which indicated to me that she was on chemo. And I was talking to her husband, trying to keep them calm because he was kind of trapped in there too, and she was definitely trapped. So I stayed and I did that for 10 minutes, it seemed. And as I said, I knew she was gone, but there are certain things you have to do. Um, you know, as a human. Uh, so that was the last time that I had to deal with a death like that. Um, so shortly after that, you know, your mind is working and you're going back. And I remember sitting on my back picnic table. And later that day, my father was inside, my wife, and so I just had to be by myself for a little while, you know. So periodically, once in a while, it would come up. Not very often. But that day it did. You know, it was 10 years ago. But sometimes you something would just flash in your mind. You know, you see a situation, and say, shit, I remember something like that. You know, the terrible things are on the news all the time, and sometimes something like that will flash you back, or a smell. You know, to this day, if I smell Heinz 57 steak sauce, I flash back to Vietnam like that. You know, where we were grilling steaks, you know, and all we had was Heinz 57. So the sense of smell will trigger memories very quickly, very quickly.